Ladies and gentlemen, ever since President William Ruto got into power, the rates of corruption are perceived to be very high. And we haven't gotten any single politician in William Ruto's regime that has been accused of corruption or maybe taken to jail. If there is one, like for instance, when we had the issue to do with fertilizer, this person was properly shielded by the government. But now, what is this making people to say that there is a high rate of corruption within the government? That is going to form the basis of this analysis here today. But before I take you through, kindly if this is the first time you're watching my videos, please make sure that you subscribe. Then after watching, please drop a comment on the comment section. Let me also take this moment to thank all of you for helping me achieve the 6,000 subscription mark. And as we proceed to 10,000, please make sure that you're part of the journey by subscribing. Without much ado, let me give you 2 seconds kindly to subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing. Now let me proceed to the topic today. What are some of these signs that make an individual tell that there is a high rate of corruption within William Ruto's regime? Number 1 in my list is this. It is the flamboyant lifestyles of the Kenyan politicians. When Kenyans sit down and look at the amount of salaries these people take, and then you compare with their type of lifestyle they have, you can comfortably tell that they are earning less than what they are able to sustain in their specific lifestyles. You realize that someone is owning very expensive things like a chopper and is just a first-time or second-term member of parliament. And to buy one chopper, it's about 250 million. If it goes, actually the list can be about 150 million shillings. But you find they are all over. In William Ruto's regime, there's an increase of the flying politicians in the country. You realize leaders are flying right, left, and center. A simple politician just comes for a day, and if does not have a chopper, they hire. And I hear that per hour it goes to 100,000 shillings. So if someone comes to, for instance, in Kisii and it is Silvana Sosoro, the chopper will definitely, if he's going to spend maybe 5-6 hours or 7 hours in a day, that means 100,000 times 7. Times 7. So, ladies and gentlemen, they are sustaining that lifestyle no matter the economy status. The economic status are worse, but the politicians are able to sustain such a kind of a lifestyle. So that is a very clear sign that corruption is a high rate, because someone to just use money like that, there must be some amount of money that is received for free. And that is a clear sign of course, corruption. Number 2, it's the fact that the rates of development are very low. It is not just within the national government. Even when you go to the county government, you realize that the roads that are supposed to be made, they are not there. You realize that the projects that are supposed to be completed are incomplete and have stalled. And then you ask yourself, where does the money go? It is simply taken by politicians in the process known as corruption in this country. So that is how people get money. But when you look at these politicians, for instance, the governors, for instance, William Ruto's regime, people are owning very many houses. They are owning very expensive cars. They are owning huge tracts of land. I hear some of them are having land pieces they have bought in Australia. People are owning very expensive properties, but their counties, their respective counties and respective areas of jurisdiction, there's no development. You realize that that is corruption money. Also, you can look at some of the dressing and maybe lifestyle of these people in terms of the dress code. Someone wearing a shirt of worth 150,000. One shirt. Shoes of worth 50,000 plus. A pair of shoe. A belt 50,000. A watch 6 million. Then you ask yourself, the courage of someone to get his salary, save for 6, maybe 5 months, go and buy just a watch, it is completely insane. That is a sign of a huge corruption scandal in the country. Also, another thing is this, is the arrogance of the leaders. These leaders, once they've gotten money, they turn against the electorate. Recently, we had the Speaker of the National Assembly calling Kenyans helpless, idiots, and such things. That is not the way you should talk to the people who gave you the powers to be where you are. They have gotten huge amounts of money to an extent that they don't care at all what we feel as the public. They have some goonism in them, even when in leadership. Arrogance is one of the signs of corruption in this country. Another thing, it is the loyalty to the president. When you realize someone is too loyal to the president, and I want to give a very simple example here. I had a case of Irungu Kangata, where he was accused of chewing money that was meant to compensate Ethiopian airline victims. And I connected directly, despite being a performer, I connected directly to the form of, let me call it the loyalty that he has portrayed to President William Ruto. Then I remembered a certain point where I made in one of my videos here on this channel. I said that most politicians are very loyal to President William Ruto, not because they really want to, because they were trapped and fell into a trap. And what was this trap? Maybe given money for CDF and CGCDF, and then these people go and squander it, and they know everywhere the government knows that they have stolen the money. So as a result, to keep themselves safe, they don't go against the government. Instead, they end up being loyal so that they don't get caught up by the ESCC. And as a result, you realize that they have to pledge their loyalty to President William Ruto all through until he leaves power. So that is one of the signs of having corruption in the country. Another thing is the excuses. You realize that whenever there's a problem, a government never admits that there was a problem. Why? Because they know at some point there's a loophole somewhere they cannot be able to explain. So instead they come up with so many excuses, which shows even if there's a problem, which shows very well that there was no problem. I want to give you still an example here of fertilizer, where we had more than 50,000 bags of fake fertilizer supplied to farmers unknowingly. These farmers did not know anything. Eventually, they went ahead to even use it in planting. But while some of them were doing the planting, they realized, no, this is completely unique. What is this? That's when they realized it was fake fertilizer. Despite of all that, nobody has been prosecuted until to date. You realize that people are still free walking. Rigathi Gachagua, of course, revealed why. And that is a clear sign of corruption that we have in this country. In this country. Another thing you have to say, it's the level of scamming that is in the government. You've realized that people, even politicians involved in gold scams, right, left, and center. That is a clear sign that they are simply doing what they are used to. Simply engaging in activities that they always engage to while in cabinet, while in government. Lastly, I want to talk about the Ruto projects. The projects that William Ruto has been pushing across the country are all beneficial to him, are all beneficial to the friends. Let's talk of Devki. You realize that this gentleman is the sole supplier of housing levies, housing projects, iron sheets. Apart from iron sheets, he supplies other things like metals, cement, and even fertilizer. He does branding. So you realize that these people are doing basically what benefits them. I don't know what's your take, but I feel strongly those are some of the big signs of corruption as we are experiencing right now in the country under William Ruto's regime. My name is Abel Mokwa. Thank you so much for watching.